I'm Ted from Everything Attachments. We're today with our category 1-2, one of the heaviest duty landscape rakes I've seen. It's going to come in fully hydraulic like we have it plumbed now, or it'll come with manual links. And we'll go from one end to the other. So it comes with the category 1-2 step pin. It is quick attach acceptable. We've added the same slot up here on the top where your top link can float when you're using the rear tail option. Now, this was designed originally to be a scrape blade. And if you get the scrape blade option, it has the option to be able to tilt the rear blade. So that's why it has a single rear wheel. If you're tilting the implement, and then you've got to almost have a single wheel, or you're going to jack one wheel up off the ground and it's not going to run right. So anything that tilts or angles, the one wheel works the best. The particular customer that this is going to, Eric, he has hydraulic tilt on his tractor, so he wants to be able to tilt it for the rake. So we just stuck with the single gauge wheel on the back so he can do that. Now, this has got a lot of expensive stuff from here up, so we may possibly also offer the scrape blade feature to put in the back of it. Now, we've not been doing that yet, and I'm not sure it's a great option. There is a lot of money here. It would make it nice to be able to do it cheaper, but I will say when you get ready to change from one thing to the other, it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be fun, but we may offer it that way. We'll just see how it comes. All of the mounts for the cylinder are 3/4 inch. So we've put 4-inch cylinders on here, 3/4 inch places here. This is 3/8. It goes on top of our main frame like we've been using for our landscape rakes that have been just excellent. We've had absolutely no problem out of our landscape rakes. Everybody loves them, including me. But this is one piece of metal. It's formed and then bent and then welded back together to make it really, really strong. As you can see, this is a pretty massive piece here. Everything about it is super heavy duty. On the gauge wheel on the back here, it does have a cylinder on it because that's what Eric wanted on it. You can do that. It gives you an infinite adjustment. The other way will be with a turnbuckle, similar to what's like a chain binder, but it's a big screw turnbuckle where you can adjust the rear wheel infinitely. If you change to the manual instead of the hydraulic, because not every tractor has 6 outlets on it or 8 outlets on it. So if you go with the manual version, here you will have the turnbuckle like I just said, but on the sides, it's just too much to jack around. Land Pride uses the turnbuckles, and on these particular two places, they take a lot of force, especially if this were the scrape blade, and it's going to look identical to this. It'll just be a scrape blade, and it will angle and so forth. These cylinders are going to they take so much pressure that in my opinion, if I change them out with turnbuckles, you've got all that pressure on the threads that are on each end of a turnbuckle, and sooner or later, between not keeping them greased and the wear of what it's going to do to jamming those threads back and forth, we've made telescopic bars, similar to telescopic stabilizer bars. They're round pipes. We've drilled all the holes in them and timed them a couple places to where you'll be able to, of course, go to the middle section and have about 6 different adjustments in either direction. And we think that's a lot more solid way and a lot more permanent way to keep everything working using the telescopic pieces than it is using the turnbuckles for here. Just if you wanted to angle it from one side to the other or from halfway to full angle, it's going to take a while doing it with a turnbuckle versus once you raise it with your tractor, you simply pull the pin out, put the angle you want onto it, drop the pin back in, and we think that's going to make a much simpler, better piece. We've bolted the rear tail wheel on here with 4 bolts. That's a 3/8 thick plate. We've put the bush hog style laminated tail wheel on it to keep it really heavy duty instead of the rubber donut, which was on the one that we looked at, because we know that rubber donut only lasts a few years in the sun and it cracks and falls off. So we want to go with as permanent as we can. And you can see we've stayed with the same style of beam for our rake here, where we laser cut the holes. We put a 3-degree bend right here, which gives them a little bit of play on both ways to be able to really spring inside there and keep the dirt flicked off of the debris, so you can get rid of just the debris and leave the dirt. Now, these are 1/4 inch by 1 inch tines. They're an Italian tine. There's the best tine I can find. We also are going to, since this rake is so heavy duty built, we also have a rake tine that's 3/8 of an inch thick and 1 3/8 inches wide. Now, it's really, really stiff. And the person that ordered this one has a 65 horsepower Coyote, and he's got a lot of pulling power. But compared to, and he wanted the big tines, but compared to the how non-springy they are and how solid they are, I think it's going to take a 75 horsepower tractor, you know, a full size, not a compact tractor, to really get the use out of that heavy tine, to be able to spring them and so forth. And they will be spaced further apart to let the dirt go through. But we will have that. We'll show that as an option soon. What we've done here is we've used a 4x4, 3/8 thick to go as the main tube. And then we've added a formed gusset here up on top just to make everything really, really strong. We've put 1.25 inch kingpin up here in the front. So everything operates and articulates from up here at the front. We've put our slot in it right here that makes the gauge wheel, and your lift arms actually control it like a grater blade instead of the top link controlling it. As your tractor tilts up and down, your blade is going to be driven flat by the rear wheel instead of the tractor lifting and raising it by the top link. So there's a lot of plumbing on here. This is all number 6 hydraulic hose, Parker hose. So there's a lot of hoses. It's kind of a mess up here. But if you've got that much hydraulics on your tractor, it's a super nice feature. The bigger tractors that are capable of working this to its full potential, most of them do have 4, some do have 6. So you can pick and choose. Maybe you only want the tilt or the angle option hydraulic, and you want to do the tail wheel with the turnbuckle, which is a good way to do it because you rarely adjust that. So or you can do it fully manual. That's definitely a good solid way to do it, and you don't have to have any hydraulics. But so in all, we've done our homework here. We've looked at all the landscaping rates and straight blades. We think we've come up with a better, heavier solution for you at Everything Attachments. And we've also changed the kickstands to be round instead of square. If you ever do bend a round tube, you can straighten it. If you bend a square one, you can't. We've put a bolt in the top of it where you won't lose it. And you don't have to find the hole on this. We were using a hole drilled, of course, through the stand and through the square piece we were using. The good thing about a square is it doesn't turn, so all you have to do is find the hole. But even better than that is if the hole is below, we don't put a hole in this at all, and you can change it to different settings because you can see them, and then the weight just comes down and rests on that. And the bolt will keep from losing it, so you can pull it all the way up to the top, put your pin in above here, and keep it, and everything's good, and you don't lose your stand, and you got multiple adjustments. We've used 1/2 inch thick on everything to do with the Category 2-1 pin. We've gone over this thing for the last couple weeks to make sure. We've built 2 of them. We made the changes to add this to the top. We weren't going to add this, but we did. You know, all in all, this is the heaviest duty landscape rake and going to be straight blade that I know of on the market. This should be fine up to about an 80 horsepower 4-wheel drive tractor, cab air, whatever. It's really heavy built, but give us a call. It's also going to come in 6, 7, and 8 foot widths. Give us a call or an email at Everything Attachments, and we'll help you get the right attachment for your tractor.